And we're following breaking news overnight. A man was shot and killed in his vehicle in Anderson County. Deputies say it happened around 7 o'clock Monday night on Evergreen Street. They found the man in a vehicle that crashed into a fence. The coroner says 29-year-old Jarrett Emery Taylor was shot in the face and died at the hospital.
In western North Carolina, Henderson County schools will require masks this school year.
The mandate begins on August 23rd. Face coverings were optional, but the Board of Education's decision comes after a confirmed cluster of COVID cases at Hendersonville Elementary School. Virtual school options have also been suspended there. School officials say not enough teachers signed up for that option. So far, 19 COVID cases have been reported within that district. 44 students have been quarantined.
The city of Greenville is now requiring people to use masks again when in public meeting spaces and common areas in city facilities. The mandate started with the city council's work session and meeting last night and takes effect at all other city facilities today.
South Carolina is seeing a sharp increase in cases. DHEC reported more than 1,800 new cases with a positivity rate of 12.3%. Nearly 53% of the eligible population is at least partially vaccinated. In North Carolina, 60% of the eligible population has gotten at least one vaccine dose there. Officials confirmed more than 3,800 new cases with a positivity rate of 11%. And in Georgia, officials confirmed more than 10,000 new cases from the weekend. 15.4% of the reported test results were positive. 47% of the population is at least partially vaccinated there in Georgia.
The fall semester is about to get started for college students, and today is move-in day for some students at Clemson University.
Our Daniel Robinson joins us live from Clemson with a look at what students can expect to return as they get back to campus. Good morning, Daniel.
Yeah, hey Patrick, Gabby, good morning. We're starting to see some movement here. We've seen a couple of students just walking around. We're seeing some organizers, some volunteers starting to arrive here. And in about, a little later this morning, about an hour or two, we're going to see about 4,600 first-year students start that process to move in. And dorms just like the one here behind me in the Horseshoe, which we have Manning Hall right over here, would be about 400 women moving into this one behind me. Then we also have some co-ed dorms a little further down. But each student was given a move-in time, so they'll come here onto campus, they'll check in, they'll get their keys, then they'll start that process of moving all their stuff up for their freshman year. This does come just after the university did release that return to campus plan that does include recommendations to wear a face mask and to get the COVID-19 vaccine. But again, this is all a recommendation and not a requirement. Now, students will have to be tested weekly for COVID-19 once that fall semester does get underway, which is next week. And then for teachers and staff here, they'll be tested bi-weekly as well. But again, starting today, first-year students will begin moving in. They'll have 2 days, so between today and the 12th. And then orientation will start on the 13th, and that's also when continuing students, so such as sophomores, juniors, and seniors, will be moving into campus if that's where they're living for this semester. But of course, we'll keep you updated throughout the day. For now, live from Clemson University, Daniel Robinson, WYFF News 4.
Thank you, Daniel. It's shaping up to be a very busy day for the U.S. Senate. After a series of starts and stops, 2 major packages are making their way through the chamber.
Jared Hill is in our exclusive Washington bureau this morning with the details.
Gabby and Patrick, it looks like that bipartisan infrastructure package is going to get its final vote this morning. Then Senate Democrats are shifting their attention to this massive budget reconciliation, which could reshape the American social structure. Ahead of what's expected to be today's final vote on infrastructure,
I believe we'll be getting it right for the American people.
Optimism from both Senate Republicans and Democrats.
This is going to make the biggest investment in infrastructure in a generation, and it's going to create at least 650,000 new high-skilled, high-paying jobs.
The $1.2 trillion package would make historic investments in transportation, expand internet access, and improve drinking water. The White House website breaks down how much would go to each state. About 20 Republicans are expected to vote with Democrats to push this through.
It does not raise taxes. It reprioritizes the use of certain unused COVID relief funds.
But critics worry about the price and the scope.
The rest is a grab bag of special interest handouts and frankly, just straight up waste, and it's bad policy.
Once the bill moves through the Senate,
we will move immediately to proceed to the budget resolution with reconciliation instructions.
Monday, Democrats unveiled a blueprint for that $3.5 trillion package. The money is set to be spent on projects ranging from universal pre-K to climate change mitigation. Likely no Republicans will be on board.
We are going to address the crises facing working families.
It's systemic socialism.
Democrats say that would be paid for by raising the tax rate on major corporations and the wealthiest Americans. Reporting in Washington, Jared Hill for WIFF News 4.
And the Department of Justice is going to decide if more information about the 9/11 attacks will be made public.
The DOJ is facing mounting pressure ahead of the 20th anniversary of that tragic day. Last week, more than 1,600 people affected by the September 11th attacks released a letter. They called on President Joe Biden to refrain from going to Ground Zero to mark the anniversary of the event next month unless he releases more information that the government has withheld. A spokesperson says the FBI recently closed an investigation related to certain hijackers.
And House Democrats will not have a chance at getting former President Trump's tax returns from the IRS for months now. That's despite the recent Justice Department opinion saying the IRS must hand them over. A federal judge will hear arguments on November 8th on whether Trump can block the release of those returns. The Biden administration and House lawmakers will have a month to respond. The House has another pending court case seeking Trump's tax records from an accounting firm.
One of Jeffrey Epstein's longtime accusers is suing Prince Andrew. She claims the Duke of York sexually assaulted her when she was 17. In late 2019, Prince Andrew said they had never met, despite a photo showing them together. Buckingham Palace also denied the allegations, saying those claims are, quote, false and without foundation.
And to California, where millionaire Robert Durst is testifying in his own defense. He's accused of killing his best friend, Susan Berman, more than 20 years ago. You may recognize the case from the HBO series The Jinx. Durst is accused of killing Berman because he feared she might implicate him in the disappearance of his first wife, Kathy, who was last seen back in 1982. Durst has long maintained his innocence, but he admitted to writing an anonymous letter to police informing them Berman's body could be found in her Benedict Canyon home.
Right now, migrant children are reporting poor conditions at a temporary facility in Texas. Court documents show they experienced long stays at the facility for as long as 2 months, undercooked food, and long waits for medical care. Last week, the Department of Health and Human Services announced it was launching a review into a different facility that also shelters minors who cross the U.S. border with Mexico alone.
And California's largest active wildfire is still growing. The Dixie Fire has burned more than 489,000 acres across 4 counties. This is near Lake Tahoe. Officials have found more than 24 people who were missing. At last check, the fire is now 22% contained. It has destroyed 433 buildings and damaged 28 others.
And right now there is a recall for Panera Bread's ready-to-eat chicken tortilla soup.
Yeah, it's going to be lunchtime in a little bit. Pay attention.
Right.
The 16-ounce containers may have been contaminated with glove pieces. The USDA notice says the soup maker got several complaints of people finding pieces of a gray glove. There have been no reports of any illnesses. The recalled soup was made on July 1st with a use-by date of September 9th. If you have this soup in your cupboard, you should throw it out or return it to the store.
The number of job openings hit a record high. The Labor Department says employers were looking to fill 10.1 million jobs in June. 6.7 million workers were hired in June, which is up from 6 million in May. Experts say many businesses are struggling to find workers because of lingering health concerns, difficulty finding childcare, and expanded federal jobless aid.
A rocket carrying supplies is blasting off to the ISS, the International Space Station, this evening. The spacecraft will arrive on Thursday with more than 8,000 pounds of supplies, equipment, and experiments for those astronauts up there.